Hello. In our previous video, we had created text versions of each of our invoices here. And in this video, we'll try to extract values from these text files. Let's go ahead and get our import packages and create our directories. Let's see. I think we're working in February. We'll try to bring the values from one of the invoices in. It's file name variable. And we'll use a Python tool with open to see what's on this text file. So here, this is saying open this file name in this directory, open this file in this directory, and assign all the values within this text file to this mylines variable. We'll see if this works. Actually, this won't work because we haven't created the directories here. Let's go and copy this. It may work now. All right, let's see what it looks like. So this is what the information on our file looks like. We have a lot of empty space here. We'll get rid of that. To do that, we'll use list comprehension. This is a list, and it's saying strips empty space, I believe. For S in mylines, for each item in this list, get rid of this space. I think this is what it's doing. Let's see what it happens. So it did remove the space. It removed the uline values. Okay. Now we'll get rid of this space. See if this works. Did it work? No, it didn't. Maybe we need to assign them. So we're going to assign it here. Our lines do the same here. Oh, okay. So now it just stripped out all the empty rows and spaces. So we have only the rows with the text values in them. As you can see, this is a list. You can tell by the brackets. And each of these items are list items separated by a comma. And what we can do here is to get the values we need, we will have to specify the list item where the values are. For example, invoice date is here, which is in the list item, in this list item. And to specify this list item, we can create a variable, string variable that this list contains. You can do by row number. So indexing in computer, programming starts with 0. So this is 0th item. This is the first item. This is the second item. So if you look at my lines, second item, if should get that row. Okay, so from here, we can extract the state. Try this. We can split this by a delimiter or uh, by a value. We can split it by colon. String has a split function. Let's see, split. So we'll split this string value into a list of 2 items because it's getting split into 2 pieces, I believe. So now it became a list again, as you can tell by the brackets. And now this is the 0th item again. This is the first item. We'll get the first item out of this. And this is the date. And let's go ahead and strip the empty space here again. And here's our date value out of from this invoice. And to simplify this, what we can do is what we did is we found the row number, split it by a colon, and found got this second item within the list. And sometimes this row may not be the second item, so we can't just enter an index number because it may be a third, sometimes ends up being a different row. What we can do is instead of specifying the index number, we can make it look for a specific value. So in all of these invoices, there's this date value. We can tell this list, go through this list and find the row where date string is located, and then get the date, the actual date from there. So what we can do, again, we'll do list comprehension. So Y for Y in my lines, if date is date in Y, that didn't work because it's not a date, it's a capital date. Let's do that. Okay, it found the row number where this date value is. Now we can do the same thing, split it by colon and get the second item, which is item number 1. It work? Oh, split. Oh, this is a list. This is a list, so we have to get the string from the list. So this is the only item within this list, so it's the 0th item. Now we can split this. And get the second item, which is item number 0 and 1. All right, and again, strip. All right, here's the date. So this is how we will be extracting all other values that we're looking for. To simplify this list comprehension, instead of typing out the date, I created a variable, which ends up just being the same thing. And we do this and do this, which is the same thing. Okay, assign this. Now we'll have to assign it. Let's go ahead and assign it. So we can use these two lines to get the date, and we'll use the same method to get all other values from this text file. So let's go ahead and create the string variables that we're going to use for list comprehension. And we'll apply the same rules for everything else. So that was date. We can do invoice number. The invoice number. The total. So total is 2445. Is that it? Let's. So this is the total. Okay. So we'll apply the same rule for everything else. I have the codes already here. And I'll wrap everything, all these items with try and accept block. So if we have an error, it'll just go through it, go to the next item. Well, that didn't work. See if this works. Okay, that works. Now we extracted all these values, invoice service, customer service one, sales tax, $158, 158, okay. And we can apply all this to all of the text files to get the values for each file. And let's print the values that we have and see if it comes through. We have the date, invoice number, company name, state. I guess this is a city. Zip code, service one. These are probably the amounts. So this would be other, invoice subtotal, sales tax, invoice total, and tax rate 7%. Okay, so it works. And like I said, we can apply these to all invoices. In order for us to do that, we'll have to loop through all these files. So let's create that for loop statement. And we're going to need to be able to loop through these files, we're going to need the names of these files. We just specify invoice number one at the top. We don't want to have to do that for each of the files. So we'll actually loop through the documents to get the names. Let's go ahead and create a text files list. This list will add all the names to this list. So this is saying for all the items in this directory, if the file name ends with txt, append the name to the text files. See if this works. Looks like it worked. Files. Okay. And now we can loop through these documents. So this is saying, depending on the number of items in the text file, I don't know how many, there are probably 50 items here. Go through them, and with each one of them, go ahead and open it, do the read lines, strip out the empty space, and then condense it to only the rows with information in it. And then we can also add the try except block here. If this works. We'll see if this works. Okay, looks like we have no error now. It did go through it, but we didn't save the values. So let's go ahead and print and see if that works. Well, add a print statement at the bottom. We'll be printing each file data separately. See if this works. Hmm. Not sure if this matters. We'll find out. Okay, so now we can see it's going through each file and getting the date, invoice number, company name, state, city, and all the other details. This is good. It's working now. We need to assign these instead of just printing them to a table. So each time it goes through a file, instead of printing it, it just adds it to the table. So for that, we'll create a data frame. Let's go ahead and create the column names for our table. And we'll create a table with these specific column names. Invoice data. We'll use pandas to create a data frame. Invoice data, we have to specify that. Go ahead and create invoice data. This is an empty list, so it's creating an empty table, but this is creating a table with empty table with these columns. So if you print this, we get an empty data frame. Data frame is just panda's name for a table. And now, again, we'll go through the loop, but instead of printing the values, we'll assign them to this table every time it goes through it. So every time we go through a file, all the values are added to this existing table. And let's see. We have a code for that. So this is saying df data frame at location index, which we defined here. Just add the values to this table with the values that we extracted from a specific file. See if this works. Looks like they work. There's no error. Let's see what's in data frame. And now we have our table within a data frame. Instead of just having it on console, this is something saved to a table, which can be saved into our directory as an Excel or text file. Let's go ahead and create our text file. And we'll save it to our invoice directory. See if this works. No error. Let's look at our folder called invoice data. It is. This is our file. Boom. All the information from the table is saved here. And now this can easily be transferred to an Excel. Try it here. Where's our directory? Here's the directory. So here's our table. We'll just load it. It'll come through as a table as well in Excel. As you can see, you have the table functions available now. So looks like they're naming the table with the same file name, and also the tab name is also named after the file name. And this is all we're looking for. Extract the files, the values from text files, and bring it over to Excel. Let's close this. We don't need it. And let's save our work. I already have the code here. So what did we do here? We don't need a print statement anymore. And now, let's go ahead and delete this. Is it open? And see if it works. Is it because it's inside? Oh. What if I delete this file? Can I delete it now? All right. So all this is saved here. Let's see if this works. What is this? Wow. And I can run this file and see if it gives us an output. Let's go ahead and add invoice directory. See if this works now. Okay, here's the invoice data. Again, the same thing. So stuff works, and this is what we wanted to do. Go through all the text files and extract the values that we're looking for, which are these: invoice number, date, total, and other dollar amounts and other values. You can extract anything you want. All right, this is what we wanted to do in this video, and looks like it's working. So thank you for watching. Thank you.